Hi everyone, welcome back to Window Chats with Robyn, the Instagram Live podcast where I sit by my window and chat with very interesting people. Today's guest is Ryan Sheedy. Very excited to chat with him. I met him on Clubhouse, fun fact, and then I saw him in a workshop, and now we're having a chat. Look at us go. Oh, I'm gonna invite you in. Oh, excited. Will go. Oh, hi Jamie. Okay, all right, I'm feeling it. It's working so much better now for season 4. This is like, oh, this is great.
That's
How
all
are you,
you.
Ryan?
That's all you. You did that, Robyn.
I did the crazy Venga Boys video that. How are you? How's your connection? Is this my end that's a little shaky? We'll figure
Uh,
out the tech parts as a group. Okay.
it could have been me literally shaking the camera trying to figure out. I'm a techno peasant, Robyn, but we're making it work here. We're making it work.
That is true. This is so exciting. Hello. Okay.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Oh, hey, thanks for wanting to be a guest. Oh, I'm an Instagram pro. Jamie, thank you. I fake it very well, actor, but I have no idea what I'm doing. Cue the hashtags. Oh, what are you drinking?
I've got some delicious Loblaws brew in my favorite sloth mug. You gotta start the day the Ryan way.
Oh my, did you just make that up now? Because
Yes.
I love if that's your morning mantra.
Oh my
Start the
God.
day.
If I said that, my friends would be like, please stop. Please stop doing this. It's not catching on.
I don't know. I think that could have booked you because I messaged you. I said, Ryan, I saw you in that Starbucks commercial. So I almost think that mindset of thinking that you start your day with a brew, that believability was brought for that 2 seconds that I saw you. I thought that Ryan.
Yeah, a lot of focus. It's a real stretch to believe that I like drinking coffee. So yeah, no, it was perfect.
You went
They got,
full method.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm a raging caffeine addict now. So, there's downsides to the biz that people don't talk about.
Oh, I love talking to comedians. Oh God, I mean, look, caffeine addiction is a thing.
Oh yeah.
But how was that commercial? What is the audition for that 2 second bit? It's more than 2 seconds, but that part where I'm like, I didn't know where I knew your face from because I see that Starbucks commercial all the time. And then when I saw you in that workshop with Larissa, I'm like, I know him. And then literally that day I turned the TV and I go, yes, that, because I know you see the headshot, but when I see you on TV, it's different. I go, oh my gosh, connecting the dots. What a fun journey.
Yeah,
So what was the
100%.
process? I love audition stories so much. I really do.
This one was pretty fun. So it was just a self-tape where, classic kind of you're ordering a coffee, do whatever, and I sent in a few takes and just each a little bit more outlandish than the next. So like the normal one and then something that's like a little bit more sassy of an order. And I didn't know at the time that it was for Starbucks, but I just assumed that it might be and ordered in that sort of style. But yeah, I'd been a barista there like way back, so just like really hamming it up with the orders, with the no foam, extra hot, that sort of stuff. But yeah, just given a bit of variety, and then yeah, the callback just was a few different ways, just to see if they were directable, if I was directable, and I guess it worked because there it happened.
On the day, what was your fake order to the barista?
Oh, I think what they ended up making is because the
Let's
whole
build
thing
this.
is like they order online or on through the app. But I think on the day it was like cold brew with a splash of like almond milk or oat milk or something like that. Yeah,
Very
so
millennial,
lots of
very.
sips of that. Very millennial. Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I think I probably went through a few of them in the close up, the money shot, and then. They wouldn't actually let me. I was like, "Can I have this?" Because it was real cold brew, and they wouldn't let me drink it. They were worried. But I was like, "You don't know how much coffee I drink. It's gonna be fine. Trust me."
You cast the right actor for this role, my
Exactly.
friend.
Yeah, method indeed.
Oh, that's so
This is a beautiful view. Where are you in the in?
Oh my gosh, I moved and I'm obsessed with this view.
It's
So it
beautiful.
just looks like I'm in the coolest part of downtown when really, if you look another way, there's just massive construction. So I found my little niche of, oh, fancy.
Perfect.
What's going on? Yeah, I love staring out of windows. That's my husband's fault. He got me obsessed with looking at people. And I'd always watch people like as an actor, as a physio, I studied people, but now I'm just like staring at them, making up plots for what they're doing with their lives. It's
Mhm.
there's a something to be written there. Mostly creepy woman watches people outside her
Yeah,
window.
it's my creepy
Why
autobiography.
does
Yeah.
she keep staring at everyone? I'm like, I don't know. I've like got a thing going with a window. Hey, you want to be a next guest? That's how I recruit my guests going forward. I just shout from the window.
Have you ever
That's
managed to like randomly snag somebody that you met through, through watching them?
I do. No, I do. I want that to be. This is my thing I'm putting out in the world because I think it would be hilarious if the people that live across from me, because again, these windows are so see through. If someone else is like an actor or a director, and then we
Mhm.
lock eyes and we go, "We're gonna do this. We're doing the production
To be on the
together,
podcast,
right?"
you're just like
And
waving
then,
through your window. You see a hand like way back there, just waving a little bit.
I mean, you never know, right? That's
Stranger things have happened, you
very.
know?
It's true. Stranger things have definitely happened, right? And it's the magic of downtown, the magic of connecting, being an actor.
There's much to be said under the umbrella title of the magic of downtown. Like, for better or worse, there is some magic happening in downtown Toronto, that's for sure.
It's true. The we don't talk about the worst because what's the point? We all know it.
Yeah,
The
we've all been
better.
on
Let's
that
focus.
subway, yeah.
Oh, it's light. It's the reason I love public transportation. Not scary at all with recent news.
It's never
Topical,
dull.
Ryan.
It's never
Look
dull.
at you. It's not. I feel like as a comedian, you always have to know the news. I never realized this till I'm like, if I run out of material, I literally turn on the news and I go, that is funny. And majority of times people won't find it funny, but I'll be like, that is funny. Even someone delivering something when they try and say a joke and they're a political figure and they deliver it so poorly, I go, that is hilarious.
Yeah.
Because oh my gosh, that's what I watched this morning. I thought that's really funny. I don't want to make anyone feel bad, and in case I run for office. But it was just watching this guy. He's saying a speech. He's trying to make a joke, and it was just because the whole delivery was so bad and boring. I didn't know a joke could be that bad. I used to think everyone could be funny, and today I stand corrected.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I mean, politicians aren't necessarily the person that you want to laugh at or want to be laughing at. Like,
that's
if you're spending too much energy being funny, it's like, okay, how about you come fix the water mains in my neighborhood, buddy? Like, that's your job. Leave the jokes to me over here. But yeah, like I do think there's something to be said for having comedy or being able to speak in an entertaining way because it makes people listen a little bit better when they're entertained. And yeah, on the note of getting informed and making jokes about what's happening currently, there's so many different types of comedy, but yeah, certainly for satire or for sketches and things like that, you got to be really up on it. Otherwise, you could inadvertently make a joke not knowing an event has happened and everyone is like dead silent and you're like, ah, I've committed a social faux pas.
has that happened to you?
Not that I remember, but I know
Okay.
it's like a repressed memory. Yeah, because I can
Oh,
feel
that's
it.
that's fair.
Yeah, I can feel like I know that there's been times where I've made a joke and somebody's been like too soon or like just it wasn't like received well. You can feel it. You can feel it in your bones in that moment. But yeah, that's the fading into nothingness. You kind of wish that you could disappear after you tell a joke that bad. But
I think it's even worse if you're like, this is gonna be good. This is the best joke I've ever had. And then
yes.
it's just you go, oh.
Right? Right? Everybody's enjoying this joke, right? Oh no, I'm an asshole.
And canceled.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's like again, top 5 fears lately is now I'm challenging it. I'm like, how will I get canceled? I'm not gonna be rude, but I'm like, what will I put out there? I'm just curious because I think it's gonna be something for me that I'd be like, I didn't even know that this was a thing.
no matter how much research I do, I love doing my research. Like, can this offend people? I try and check my jokes with people. Sometimes I don't, because I'm like, I don't know, this is weird. I don't really know you, but I think this is funny. I'm going to share it. But I feel like that's a big fear when you try and create something, you don't see the harm in it, and then it offends so many people, and you're like, oh God, how do I come back from that? I don't know.
I think the only way you don't come back from that is if you pretend you didn't do anything wrong, or,
Oh,
in many cases, you're actively like, so what? I don't care. Like, you see so many people like, God, I hate him, but Louis C.K., it's like, yeah, okay, you've been canceled, but like, you are experiencing still wild success and still making money. But, that's what happens when you give a non-apology for having done something terrible. And I think when you tell a joke, it's even more benign. It's a passing, fleeting moment. I mean, hopefully, like with what we do on stage with live improv, if something crosses the line, we're digesting that after the fact, or discussing it in class, saying, why wasn't that okay? How do we feel about it? And it's not always clear cut either, right? Like we're supposed to go to that line, and sometimes you're going to cross over it. But I think, when you have that really wide audience, or the super, you're on TV in everybody's homes, maybe you do have to be a little bit more careful what you say, or at the very least be willing to kind of like, reflect on it after the fact. I think that's important.
it's a good point. I mean, if you think of you're performing on stage, it's not recorded versus something on television. Although, I mean, I say performing on live stage, everything's recorded now, right? They whip out their little phone, just
Yeah.
waiting to cancel someone, oh, they're going to say it's today the day. I go viral because a comedian said something.
I mean,
And
it's all the people that you see losing their jobs that are just being abhorrent to, people who work in customer service. And I mean, it's not kind of like, oh, you shouldn't have anything to hide if you're not doing anything wrong, but like, you'd have to be a pretty huge asshole to like have people be like, we're so mad, we're going to contact your place of employment and get you fired. We're actively trying to ruin your life. But you got to think, like, somebody who gets people that riled up must have done something wrong.
I mean, I see both sides, because I see people that are just, I can see someone saying the completely wrong thing, but I can also see people being like, I am so offended by this thing that no one else seems to be offended by, but I'm super passionate and I have all this time and I'd like to express my opinion. So it's very, I find even the discussion of getting canceled just like a whole fascinating discussion. I've been bringing it up a lot because it's just like, isn't there an in-between? What happened? Can you imagine growing up as a kid explaining the concept of getting canceled? Well, as a child, I was taught, conflict resolution. Let's
Yeah.
have let's discuss. Let's be, and then you see as you're a grown up, you go, oh no, this didn't work, and okay, that person's dead to you. Oh, interesting. Grown ups. Okay. Weird.
Yeah, but when you think about, is somebody in your life who, if you're gonna cut them out, the severity of what they must have done, I could see it totally being, not a big deal and somebody overreacting, but I think that's probably in the minority of cases. It's probably more so where, again, this person just can't admit wrongdoing. It's embarrassing. It's like, is if you tell a joke that goes too far, it's very embarrassing. Like we have instances in class where people double down on something that they said because, in that moment, they not only know that it's wrong, but they still want to be right. And so they really take it hard and they double down or maybe say something else that's, unkind. And I think that's the biggest thing is you just have to be willing to take a second and sit with it, so that you can learn from it.
I see you being such a great teacher. I am learning from you, like just in this. I feel like I have to pay you after this chat.
Well,
teach everywhere.
I am not an expert in cancel culture, but yeah, if you want to talk comedy, yeah, let's go for it.
I know, that's true. Yeah, I get sidetracked and I'm like, I have thoughts. Let's discuss with whoever's on my chat.
No, it's so cool.
But I always have the thought growing up, it's like those who can't do teach. And that's why I find it so interesting when people teach comedy, because I think, no, the people that can do comedy teach comedy. Because I almost want to negate that phrase. No way. It's so hard to teach people almost how to be funny. What is comedy, right?
Mhm.
It's not always going for the joke per se, or is it? I don't know. You tell us.
I mean, I think a lot of the time comedy comes from a place of honesty. And going back to your bit about those who can't do teach, certainly there's bad teachers everywhere. There's bad teachers in the public school system. There's bad teachers at university. I know I had them. There's bad comedy teachers. But I think, maybe some of what that comes from is wanting to perform and not being able to, and doing teaching instead, because there's this proximity to the art form that you want to do, but you're not actively engaging in it in the performance aspect. So I see that you're that close to something but not actually doing the thing, and so that could hurt, and that could make people resentful and bitter. But I think at its best, the best education, whether it be comedy, whether it be anything else, comes from this place of passion and enthusiasm. Because certainly, seeing somebody do a scene on stage, an improv scene, having taught them. I mean, recently we just did a showcase with some of our students at Bad Dog Theater. Shout out to Bad Dog Comedy Theater. And everybody just crushed it. It was just a wonderful student showcase, like top to bottom. All of the classes really did a wonderful job. And it's so fantastic. It's such a gratifying moment, because you really have to understand something inside and out to teach it well, I believe. So I think, I think that for a good teacher, those that can do, and then also teach. Is my thesis. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm quoting you on that. That's great. I rarely quote people, but I love that. And because you've done it. You've a very impressive resume, Ryan. You're very unassuming on the Clubhouse. Just come on, you're like, I do the comedy. I'm like, oh, you do a lot of comedy.
Yeah, I mean, I've been very lucky. It's been a real ride.
Have you known you were funny? Like, did you grow up and everyone goes, you're funny, pursue this? Or what was this journey?
I think, like a lot of comedians or people who do comedy, that it starts early, but maybe not necessarily people saying, oh, you're funny. I think it often starts, like around the dinner table or something, diffusing awkward situations with humor, or being awkward. Like, I've always been a very small, unassuming person, and so throughout the awkward stages of junior high, when people are bullying or being rude or mean, it's an easy thing to just kind of agree with them and be like, oh yeah, I am stupid, I am a wiener, I'm if you kind of take their power away by agreeing with them. But that's that self-deprecating humor, right? But yeah, I think from probably about grade 9, we did a play that was like a melodrama, a comedy, and that's when I was like, oh, this is really fun. And from that point, kind of really got into it.
Oh, that's so funny, because I actually think my high school deterred me from wanting to do acting. The drama program was terrible, and you go, oh God, maybe this isn't for me.
Bad teachers. A bad teacher will put you off of whatever the thing is, even if you really want to do it.
I mean, look, I think with every teacher, it's so subjective, right? Because I could say, not my thing, didn't enjoy that. And other people go, oh my gosh, I'm inspired to be an actor because of this person. Yep. And that's why there's so many different teachers out there, right? I mean, even I was looking up at Bad Dog, all the different profiles. I go, woo, a lot of you guys.
Yes, 100%. And, part of that's because the people who are good get busy. And so you kind of need a lot of people around. And a lot of them are working actors. So you never know when you might need coverage because somebody got a gig or whatever. But also just a wide swath of walks of life, of different experiences. Like, we've got a few instructors who have just unreal credits, like Fat Al, for example. He's going to be back on Second City main stage again. He is a Juno nominated rapper. he was in God Made Me Funky and did some stuff with Len. Like, it's wild. Ken Hall, an amazing clown teacher, actor, improviser. But when you have those strengths that are so varied, it really lets you approach students in different ways. Like, it lets you teach in a way that fits them best, or at the very least, it gives them options to choose from, I think, where a student might gravitate towards more musical stuff or more clown stuff, or, more old school improvisation or what have you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with that. Do you feel like you have a specialty? If I were to go study with the infamous Ryan Sheedy.
Infamous. Uh-oh. I don't know. I don't know that I have a specialty per se. I feel like I'm kind of like a jack of all trades. I don't know that I'm like, so I do some musical
It's a little
improv.
arrogant, but sure.
I guess so, yeah. Jack of all
I guess
trades,
I'm just
master
so
of none.
talented. I do everything, whatever. Okay.
Well, I mean, I think there's a difference between like I'm so good at anything I try and like I'm average across the board. Which is kind of how I feel. I'm kind of like, yeah, I can do like a little bit more clowny stuff. I could do some musical improv, short form, long form. I really love it all. I think it's great. But I think it basically comes from all the same place. Like there's some different opinions as far as improv goes and how you style it. And my favorite quote ever about improv in that regard is improv is like pasta, short, long, doesn't matter. It's still flour, eggs, and water. It's still the same basic ingredients.
I have not heard that one. My gosh, dropping gems.
That's not mine. That's not mine. That's from Joe Vanderhelm at Rapid Fire in Edmonton. So I'll steal that. If Joe, if you're watching, I'm so sorry.
Joe, if you're watching, I think Ryan created it. So classic intellectual property issue.
Oh no.
Has someone ever taken your joke? When you create this joke and you go, this is mine, and then you see someone else do it, you go, I swear, but then how do you know you created it? And it's a whole thing, chicken egg phenomenon.
I mean, especially with, that's a big no-no in the comedy community, is stealing jokes. And like, especially with things like Twitter or social media or TikTok especially, because it's built into the app basically that if somebody has a funny sound, you can just re-record a video with that sound over it. So you're literally stealing it, and that's the point. But it's very interesting because it's a new sort of wave, or a new, it is stealing, but it's also like this kind of like collaborative joke building. To me, there's a difference between, I'm going to use this platform or this kind of this framing to make a joke versus, I'm just doing the exact same thing that you did. But also people on that app are ruthless, and they will call you out if you did that. They'll just say, you stole this from this person, like you got to give them credit or whatever. But yeah, like
I'm nodding. TikTok is like a platform I don't understand. I'll still try, but I just can't.
I'm just watching and absorbing. Yeah.
Okay.
But
yes, of course. I know the sounds.
Yes, the sounds on TikTok. Yes. For other sort of jokes or things on stage, you might see something in a show and have it in the back of your mind and it comes out, or characters resurface, especially on the ship. We would be doing very similar style of games every show or week to week, and so some of those jokes kind of come back again and again. Like for example, there is a game called Sex with Me, and it goes, sex with me is like blank. We get the blanks from the audience, and then we improvise the punchlines. So it could be sex with me is like a cup of coffee. I like it hot first thing in the morning. See, that's a joke that we told a million times to set them up, but it's pretty funny.
Pretty funny.
But just to let them know.
Have you considered comedy? Okay.
Yeah. But sometimes those things would come back. It doesn't feel great, and that's an important feeling I think to pay attention to is, how does it make me feel when I reuse even my own material? It's strange.
Entertaining people on a boat, like that's a whole other level of how long are these it's a cruise, I'm assuming. No, it's like a 10-second boat ride. So I'm assuming
it's a rowboat.
Oh my gosh. Like, you know those gondolas where the in
Oh
Italy
my
and they're
God.
singing? So now you have to come in a joke.
I can't, that's like such a nightmare to me. Like just somebody like slowly paddling and being like, can I get a suggestion? That's awful.
But even creepier if you use the sex with me is like, whoa, you're really close in my face here, sir.
100%.
Or ma'am, I think I've seen females doing that too. Everyone can do it. Everyone a gondola.
Everybody.
Oh my goodness. There's a business that is missing. We will bring it to the Italians. No.
$1 million idea. Too bad this is on live. Somebody's stolen it already.
Probably. That's okay. Oh my gosh. I was going somewhere and now I'm just very distracted by the concept of, oh, that's so funny. Oh yes, cruise ships. Do the people, what's the crowd like there versus, in a basic, let's say, Second City show?
I would say that
Not
probably the audiences are a bit more general. Like Toronto has a pretty comedy savvy audience. So like a lot of the people that are coming to shows have seen a live show before. And if not, they're surrounded by some other people that might have. On a ship, you never know because there's people from literally all over the world. We had people from Germany that came and were like, we don't really speak much English, but we came to a bunch of your shows because we were really entertained, which to me is a huge compliment because I was just so shocked that despite the language barrier, they're like, oh yeah, we're still really enjoying this and picking up on those jokes or the physical comedy or what have you. But yeah, I would say like it is a little bit easier in some ways and at the same time more difficult because people are on vacation, so they're already inclined to have a good time. But the flip side of that is people are on vacation, so they might be wasted.
That's exactly what I was thinking. How hammered is the cruise ship audience? Okay.
Like our show is called BeerProv, so like you can imagine. There was more than one instance where we had to be like, you're an audience volunteer, but we are going to give you a hand while you leave because you are drunk. Yeah, not ideal. Not ideal.
I mean, it keeps it entertaining and fresh, I guess.
Oh, yeah. It keeps you on your toes, that's for sure.
I find improv so interesting, having done so much theater, and this is, okay, you practice, you rehearse, put on the show. And, maybe every now and then when you're performing a show, something surprises you. But with improv, it's, okay, maybe we have the games, but you never know what's going to happen. Keep it loose, get excited. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
100%.
Fun.
It's, and people often ask, like, what are you practicing while you're practicing? And going back to, like pre-planning and stealing and reusing things and kind of just like with that accusatory tone, just kind of being like, so like, that's not really improvised, right? But it's just like a sport, you would practice drills in hockey so that on stage you can execute, on stage, on ice, perpetually a drama kid and not a hockey player.
I mean, I would love to watch hockey on stage. There was a hockey musical. A friend of mine was in it. So you are onto something there. You picked up on that.
Again, everybody who's listening, that is our intellectual property. You cannot steal it. But yeah,
I have no idea
practicing and just making sure that you got the skills to execute on stage, and learning to yes and is the biggest one of them all, but just really making sure that you can be flexible so that when those things do happen, you can pivot in the moment. Super important.
Oh, for sure. And it's when I started doing improv, I don't know if you felt this way, but I think my first improv class, when you do all those warm-ups, you go, I just want to do the jokes. What is this? Zip, zap. What am I doing? What is this? This is so weird. And you go, oh, I see it. I get what we're doing here. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you feel that way as an instructor. Do you ever have those people, those non-believers of, I don't know why I'm doing this. I just want to be funny.
Oh yeah, all the time. And it's really easy to spot in certain exercises because they're trying to make the jokes, and a lot of the time, that's not where necessarily the humor comes from. Like sometimes the humor just comes from paying attention to what's happening in the moment, or being honest, or you know, even just walking backwards and remembering something that happened earlier and then referencing it, you know, that laugh of recognition. But I don't, yeah, it's easy to spot, but also it's important, I think, sometimes to lay out the reasoning behind that. Because, you know, just as many people as there are that are like, I'm rearing to go, I want to tell jokes. There are some people who are like, I am firmly in my shell and I don't want to break out of it. So it takes some coaxing.
That's true. I found a lot of people when I started my journey at Second City, they were in business and they just wanted to be better around people. And I thought, oh, this is so interesting. Look at that. Because there is something to be said, right? It does make you come out of your shell. You can't overthink things. Just go with it. And there's such I love when you're with a group and you can just trust that group and know that whatever comes out of your mouth, it's no judgment, right? It's something. I mean, I judge myself. There is judgment in my head, but you know, other people are there for you, and let's just see what happens. Let's hope it lands. If it doesn't, we tried and we move on.
Well, and that's the hardest bit. I think you nailed it on the head there, is the self-judgment, because, you know, it means you're editing yourself or not really letting yourself go with your first idea because it's not right, it's not clever, it's not funny. But, you know, we don't want to strain. We don't want to strain. It should feel like we're pushing a boulder downhill and not uphill. You know, the best improv scenes are the ones where you kind of like latch onto something and it feels like it's happening on its own, as opposed to like really having to work for it. That's what I think.
I like that. Have you found do you have a go-to group now that you perform with all the time?
Not really. There's been a few kind of ensembles that have morphed and changed, but COVID really just kind of took its toll on the improv scene. We lost a couple venues. I mean, Second City's still building their new location and training center. We had to close our theater at Bad Dog, which was very sad, but you know, we're the little theater that could. We'll be back, and we're still doing classes and stuff, just operating more of our shows out of Comedy Bar, excuse me. But yeah, like we used to have an ensemble, a group of friends from Calgary, and we did hip hop, musical, improv, and you know, it went so far as to make an album. We did Toronto and Montreal Sketchfest, which was a real blast, and other little groups that have kind of like popped up and fizzled. But it's hard to, I think the larger the group gets, the harder it is to, you know, meet for rehearsals and compete with everybody's schedules. And like we talked about before, if you're with good people, eventually they're gonna get busy, which is a blessing and a curse. It's great. It's great to see the people that are around you get busier, but there's always that little part of you that's like, oh, but we had a good thing. We were having so much fun, and now you're a movie star. Like, not that I'm friends with a lot of movie stars.
How dare
like,
they?
You know,
Okay.
in this hypothetical.
But that just means that you surrounded yourself and you learn from people that are stars, and then now it's your turn, right? So
I hope so.
That's what that means.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. You presented really well in that workshop. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? Are you just like, is she gonna write a TV show for you? No, I love watching people get good feedback. And I love watching people interpret with anything that, you know, a class I take or a workshop I do. I start watching other people now. And because I like to read all the scripts in advance too, just to know what other people might do. And I go, that is a very interesting take on it. Or, I like how they played it, because I don't think I would play the scenes the same way someone else would. So it's just really, it's so fun to see how someone takes a piece of material and performs it. I find it fascinating.
100%. And, you know, to that point, like seeing somebody that's doing the same scene as you and how different that is even in that moment, like, because, you know, I'm in awe that you just go through and read all the scripts beforehand. Like, I would do that for my own sake to try and pick out the one that I like the best, but kudos to you. That's a lot of like pre-work.
It's, you know what though, it doesn't feel like work, because I love, first off, reading scripts, and I love seeing what people do. The stage directions are my favorite thing. Like, how will they put the stage direction in this little Zoom box or something, right? What will they do? Will they disregard it? Will they use this punctuation? I just get really, maybe in my head, I'm also casting this project, which I'm not. I'm just like, which hat will I put on while I watch these people work? I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's such a fascinating thing to have. Have you ever written anything?
I've written some things before, not necessarily like film or like TV or web series or anything like that, but like certainly live sketch and those sorts of
Yeah.
things, or yeah, little scenes and whatnot. Yeah.
But I just think
Songs.
it's so fun to write something, and then even if I don't perform it, see how someone else would interpret it.
Yeah.
And I think, like, as a writer, to watch, I mean, I don't think the writer watches every audition, but to watch someone perform your work, whew,
Oh yeah.
fascinating. I mean, for me, when I watch someone else perform and I go, okay, I'm rewriting it. That's not how it came. That's not what I'm like. Okay, that wasn't clear.
Yeah, I
Rewriting
guess
it,
I
my
need to
bad.
make these
Or,
stage directions a little bit more specific.
although sometimes I'm like, oh, that is lovely.
Mhm.
Adding that. So I don't know. There's something to be said with watching other people and feeling. I don't know if this was hard for you, but for me, I'm a competitive person, and then just kind of not being competitive and being more supportive was a journey for me.
Mhm. Mhm.
But there's no reason, because you finally realize you're like, no one else can be me, right? So what am I competing with here? If I'm right, cool. And if, like, I would like to see what other people are doing.
Mhm. Yeah, true. Yeah, I think I went the other way where I was kind of like, oh no, you kind of like go have it. And it was like a journey of like sticking up
I see
for
you
my
being
like being
so
more
generous.
assertive.
You just seem like the
But
nicest person.
you know, to your own detriment sometimes too. Um, just like there is such a thing as being too generous, and not that I necessarily am, but it is certainly the journey has been to try and be more assertive, I think, and like asking for things that I want, and so far it's been going okay.
We will talk offline about this, sir.
Oh
You
yeah.
just take it. If someone offers you something, you say yes and. Okay.
Oh yeah, totally. That's the
You
training,
don't say
you know?
yes, but there's someone else that might be better.
Yeah.
No. You're obviously the best person. That's why you're offering this to me. I don't even know what the example is that for things you passed up on, but that's what I've decided it is. You gave someone else a role. I know you want to
hope
cast
not.
me, but have you met my friend?
Oh
They
my
are
God.
better.
Yeah.
I
I'm
don't
sure
think
it
I could ever
happens.
do that. If I get the role and then be like, no, someone else should have it. Oh no, they offered me the role. Excuse me.
Pardon me. Yeah. No, I can't think of anything in particular, but just the general vibe of, you know, whatever the opposite of being super competitive is definitely that's been my journey. How did you handle that?
How did I handle your response?
No,
I think
getting
okay,
getting
I
less
was actively
competitive.
sitting. You know what? I think I was always like, when I was growing up, I did a lot of things that were competitive. And I think I was honestly just competing with, what I thought I was competing with other people. I was just competing with myself to be better. And like,
Mm.
part of me felt like I was never good enough. So I was always just like feeling that competitive nature. And now it's kind of like, look, I am who I am, and
Mhm.
no need to compete, and just kind of try. And I say that as if I've like found inner peace and I found the meaning of life. No, I freak out on a daily basis, and there's that negative self-talk, but it's the worst, right? That whole, when you're even doing an audition or something, or you're creating something. Oh my God, I created something the other day. I go, no one's gonna like this. What am I doing? I'm like, just doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Put it
Mhm.
out there. If it resonates, it resonates. But I'm not going to know what's funny or what resonates with people if I don't put stuff out there. So
Yeah.
yes, the majority of my stuff will epically flop, and I'll get like 0 views on TikTok, which is a skill in and of itself. Being a billion people on that platform, it's actually, I'm owning that now. But
Blame
it
the
makes me laugh.
algorithm.
It actually, there's honestly so much comedy in. I will post something, it'll do great, like. Okay, great is whatever, but it'll do fine other places, but 0 views on TikTok. And I find it so, that is my daily comedy of, this is going to not be seen on a huge platform. It's a skill and I love it. I'm going to put on my resume. No one's going to understand
I
it.
think blame the algorithm. You can safely, you can just say, I'm shadow banned, whatever, help me get unbanned, everyone.
The algorithm is anti-Semitic, and then I'll start a whole thing, and then I'll
Yes, this is the hill. This is the hill that we want to die on.
This is what's happening.
Yeah.
This is what's happening. Yeah. Dear TikTok.
Oh my God. But certainly there are some
that's
things, with it that are kind of suspect. And I wouldn't, yeah, I wouldn't say
a
that
lot of.
just because your comedy isn't hitting on there. Like it just takes time too. There's a couple people in the comedy community that have really kind of taken off, and it's rare that their first video does it. It's just putting out things consistently. Like it truly is just
It's
always,
exhausting.
yeah, it's an exhausting
It
amount
is
of.
so like to be consistent is
Mm,
exhausting because
hmm
some days I'm like, I'm going to create everything. And other days I go, I'm tired. I don't want to deal with this. No,
Yeah.
thank you. So I commend anyone that is consistent. It's a lot.
hmm Yeah, it's a lot of work, and like to be funny consistently too is its own special kind of like, now this has become a job, and now it's much harder.
It's to be funny consistently, but if you have this is so interesting to me. Let's say you build a following of sorts using a certain kind of humor, and then you want to pivot.
Mm,
That to me is so terrifying, right? Because you go, okay, cool. I think I've exhausted this area. I know these are the only kind of jokes people want to see, but personally, I don't want to keep doing it.
yeah.
So it's kind of, I don't know how that would work, but I know some people have said it's so hard for them to pivot because that's not what the people want to see. But
hmm
as a performer, you go, I just want to do this. I don't want to do it anymore. So
Yeah.
I think it's interesting.
Yeah, at a certain point, I think, you just got to do what makes you happy, and there are going to be fans that maybe don't like it, but also I think
Mm.
once you're at the point where you've got fans that can be disappointed, you're talking a whole other ball
Yeah.
game here. Like just, oh, like I
I
don't want to
mean, can
upset
I
these
say
people I
that my
don't really
husband
know.
gets disappointed and he's my fan and he's like the one that always watches these? Okay.
You can say it.
I I'm like, Mike, I need at least one person to watch the whole thing live. Great, you're gonna watch the whole thing. Okay, amazing.
You just
All
got
the
all
way
your
through.
other devices logged in.
It's just all the way through. Just I don't even care. Just leave it on. He does listen. Do you have like supportive people in your life? That's a weird question. That was
Really just dropping the bomb, Robyn. Yeah.
that was harsh. Do
Can you
people
imagine if I
not
just said
support you?
no, just that I don't have any supportive people in
I
my life?
know. I set
Um,
myself up.
no,
Okay.
I've got a good support network. I feel very blessed. There's a lot of people that I knew from out west in Calgary that moved here that are, comedy folks, improvisers. So I'm very, very grateful to them. Like truly have put a roof over my head in tough times. And I'm blessed with a very supportive partner, Alex, who we're painting our apartment right now, and she's so patient with me.
What color?
Oh God, it's called October Mist is one of the
Oh, I love
walls.
that.
Do you know what
What
it
color?
is?
But what color? No, I love that because what color is
Okay,
it actually? Because
it's like
we recently, yeah,
it's
you know
like a
when it's
lighter
yeah. Go ahead.
sage, I guess.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's one of
It's
the
you look at the
accent
palette.
walls.
Exactly the accent. We
Yeah.
went with what was the? I can't even remember where like you because when you look at the different I don't know what are they called the little
Mhm.
sample things.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay,
I call
whatever
them
the
paint
samples of
cards.
paint cards. Love
That's
it using
that's
it.
not what they're called, but that's what we call them.
I believe it. But they all look the same.
Yeah.
And then you buy the paint and then you put it on the wall and you go, well, that's not, does that match? And then you have the lighting added onto it. You go, wait, what? It's very
Yeah.
confusing. Lighting completely changes the color. And
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, we painted. I don't mind it. I thought I would hate it more, but I'm like, ooh, look at this light. I thought it was going to be a silver and now it's a blue. That's
Mhm.
fun.
Yeah.
Accent.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a real journey where our living room is quite disheveled right now, but I'm so excited to have it be done because we have the landlord special right now, and it's not it's bad. It looks like certain parts of it look like it was painted by a 5-year-old. So very excited to have that done. But yeah, like her family
Bonding.
so lovely and supportive. Oh, my headphones are dying, so one sec.
Oh my gosh, that's never happened. A headphone death.
There we go.
All right.
There we go.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, we're back. We're back, baby.
Ooh.
yeah, that was
journey. Okay.
scary for a moment. Yeah, and I just feel very lucky. The comedy community in general here is very, very supportive. You know, there's times where people have helped me move, helped me find classes, jobs. So you just really want to look
having friends that help you move. Don't lose these friends because moving sucks. Okay.
Yeah, I hope that I never have to do it again. I think between moving here, I think in the first few years of living in Toronto, I moved like at least 4 or 5 times. And so it was,
Whoa.
yeah,
Why?
too much. That's too much. Well, okay, the move to Toronto was one, and then moving out of my friend's place that I started in Toronto to our own place. And then I had to move back because the other, I had gotten a second apartment, and then it fell through like a week in advance. And then yeah, and then going on the ship was another one, where I had to store my stuff, and then coming back from the ship, I was lucky that Alex's mom, Vivian, would let us stay at her apartment. But it was truly like less than 48 hours notice, just like, I'm coming home, could I please live with you? Yeah, I'm so sorry, but it seems like the world is ending, so can you help a guy out?
I feel like you're using a yes and motto just for moving. Like this whole life of, I don't know where I'm going to live. Let's figure it out. Here we go. Going on a ship. Okay.
It's, it's the fly by the seat of your pants, yes and kind of approach works for a lot of things. But as far as like your housing situation, I would recommend a more regimented, stable approach. Yeah.
Oh my God. Why did you come to Toronto? Just out of curiosity. Did you just like exhaust Calgary? Go, I've been funny everywhere. Now a new journey.
Not exactly like that, but I was, so I went to school for business, which is funny that you brought it up earlier because it's very much like, oh yeah, improv will help me in my degree. And
yeah.
Little did I know it was just a way to keep my toe in like drama and stuff like that. But it was definitely, I felt, after coming here for a visit, I really enjoyed the city. I enjoyed the pace. And it just seemed a bit more lively, like Calgary, where I was living at home. It was very suburban and it's very sprawled out. Oh, yeah.
Sorry, there's a comment as a person still living in Calgary. Oh, okay.
Friend. Yeah, it's totally true. Like, I love Calgary.
It's much more exciting. I appreciate that.
There's a lot of beautiful nature around Calgary, in and around Calgary, which is fantastic. But yeah, I just wanted to come here to work on comedy, and eventually was just kind of like, oh, okay, I was scared of doing this, but I mean, I have to try being an actor. Like that's just what I knew to be true deep down. And yeah, it's been very hard, but I'm finally getting to the point where I feel like I'm doing what I love for work, which is really exciting.
That is exciting. Did you move and just start doing comedy right away, or like did you move, get an agent? I'm just curious of the process.
Yeah, totally. I'd applied for a couple jobs and was like far along in the interview process for them, more like traditional sort of like 9-to-5-y type stuff. But I had a couple of months of buffer before I really needed to find something. Yeah, I started doing improv right away just because I'd already been improvising and teaching in Calgary, and it's a good way to not only meet people, but meet like-minded people.
Right.
There's a lot of great people in the community. And so, yeah, started doing some comedy, joined a couple sort of house teams or ensembles. And then, yeah, I was having a hard time finding work. And I was just like, am I fooling myself by trying to get a job, or should I just try and act? Like, what is the balance here? And it was a lot of juggling, part-time jobs, the actor shuffle of, I've got this gig and this gig, and they both happen twice a month, and blah blah blah. Nightmare. But yeah,
very unsuccessful. Yes.
Yeah. It's a lot of that.
Stressful. It's so stressful.
So stressful. Yeah. Anybody who's doing that hustle, lots of respect. It's not easy. It's a lot of stress, and a lot of just like scheduling stress. A lot of the times the work isn't even that bad, but you're just like, oh,
how do I make this work?
It's just like, how do I, exactly, I don't even, how am I supposed to be at opposite ends of the city at the same time?
100%.
But I'm like, I don't know, I feel so, I'm excited. I don't know what it is, but I haven't met that many people from Calgary, but there's just like a really nice vibe with everyone I've met from Calgary. So when I found out you were from there, I go, oh no, is there not? You shook your head? Like have I not met the bad
I don't know.
apples?
I
Okay.
think,
No, they're terrible people, and I moved to Toronto to.
That's very kind. I just don't think it's the typical response. You know, like there's this classic East-West rivalry. That's so.
Oh, I mean, yeah, we're rivals. I don't want to talk to you. I knew that. I didn't read the newsletter. That's what happened.
It's so nuts,
I don't believe in that. Okay.
I genuinely cannot. Oh, all the nice people leave.
All the nice people leave.
Oh,
and
no,
that's Toronto has nice people. We're saturated with all the people from Calgary pretending to be Torontonians now.
I mean, I was born in Winnipeg, grew up in Calgary, and live here now. Like, I don't really participate in the rivalry, except you always know the one thing that will, like, rile anybody up. You know, like, if you're in Calgary.
I don't know. You
start talking sports. You start talking about the Oilers, or if I start cheering for the Flames here, you know, like, it doesn't. And none of that stuff really, I'm not, like, super sports guy, but it is just, like, the key. You know, but yeah, I think there's a lot of really great people wherever you go. There's a lot of like the same, it's crazy how similar they are. Because Toronto's very much like us versus everyone. And Alberta's like, Wexit, we want to separate. So, like, you know, similar sort of like that, like we're on our own, but I don't think it has to be like that.
I mean, yeah, but that's people are strongly opinionated about different things. I go, well, can't we all be friends? Get like friendship bracelets. Remember when that was a thing? Good times.
I mean, I don't think I had enough friends at that time to have the bracelets. So
you know what? I had the friends that our parents were friends, so we have to be friends. So I had like the forced friendships.
Gotcha.
I find them very entertaining, right? Because you go, I don't know what to say to you, but our parents seem to like each other, so we are stuck together.
An arranged friendship, if you will.
Hey, it's like borderline. It's not an arranged marriage, but you're like, I don't want to be friends with these people. We're not the same. Why are we doing this? I'm uncomfortable.
That's the beauty of being.
Nothing against them, right? I'm sure they're great people, but you know, certain people we just don't. We're not friends.
You just don't match.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful part of being an adult, you know, like getting to choose your friends, getting to choose your chosen family too. Like, I mean, a lot of the time here, because I don't have a lot of family in and around Toronto, you know, the friends kind of take over that role, which is nice. But yeah, there's certain things that I think, you know, you don't put up with in a friendships that you might put up with in family, like people just being annoying, kind of like siblings, and you're like, oh, God damn it, why are you doing this again? But, you know, you love them. You got to take care of your people.
That's true. I feel like, I don't know, you're just like the nicest person. I don't know what it is about you. I know I've never met you in person, but I just feel like you are so nice, and it's confusing to me when people are genuinely nice people. I don't know why. I always expect an ulterior motive. Yeah, I was hurt as a child. It's just.
Oh, Haley. Yeah,
I'm very glad you put up with my annoying sibling for me. Is her name Haley?
Yeah, that's Haley. Hi, Haley. Yeah, her brother Matt is my best friend, one of my best friends, and he lives quite close to me. So we've had quite many a show together and done Fringe and Sketchfest and stuff. So
do you have a favorite show? Oh, see, I agree. Yes, you're one of probably the nicest people. Yeah, exactly.
Kind.
There you go.
Very kind.
Verified by Instagram.
Just watch, all the haters are gonna pour in later and be like, fuck this guy.
Oh yeah, you think he's the nicest? I'm the nicest.
Yeah,
and then they say like really
stories. Canceled.
Yeah. Oh. This is why Ryan is going to turn into Ryan gets canceled on an Instagram live. And this is why we talked about it before.
This is bound to happen.
Look at all these callbacks.
Canceled chats with Robyn by the window.
Oh my God. And I lose featured guests.
No.
And Haley's gonna fight them all. Oh my gosh. And now this is what happens. This is Calgary versus Toronto. It's happening on a live. I didn't think that was possible.
Classic.
I've learned differently.
Classic.
Yeah. And is there any kind of words of advice you would give to aspiring comedians?
Aspiring comedians. I would say try to find the type of comedy that resonates with you, and as opposed to trying to fit someone else's mold. Because, you know, there's a lot of sort of established ways of doing things, but just take what serves you and chew on it. And if it doesn't sit right with you, just spit it out and leave it. There's not enough time to kind of force yourself to, you know, I'm not saying like you shouldn't try things that you're afraid of or that you shouldn't work areas that you're not strong in. But if you're genuinely just not interested in a particular thing, don't feel like you have to do it just for its own sake. Do what you like.
That.
Life's too short. Do what you like.
It is too short.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you want a yes and, but not everything.
Yeah,
except,
totally.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, and there's yes and is such a useful tool, but we talk a lot about, you know, having to master the rules before you learn their bends and their breaks. And yes and is totally one of those, because there's going to be situations where, you know, like if you're watching a TV show and everybody was saying yes to everything, it wouldn't make any sense. Like there would be things that are contrary to people's characters. And that's true for improv as well. You know, if somebody's got a very strong character, they might, you know, agree with the reality, but not agree verbally. And that's still valuing what that other person says. And that's really all that I think we need in a scene. You know, it's not a matter of literally saying yes, but that's a very useful training tool, because, you know, there is the inclination to say no in scenes to be safe.
Yeah. Do you, sidebar, do you hear the construction going on, or are we cool?
I hear a light scraping, but honestly, that's pretty much my day-to-day and living in an apartment.
Right?
Yeah.
Honestly, I thought I was good. I'm like, okay, no, okay, apparently not. Let's just see if we can push through this. Because
that's right. It's not bad on my end, so.
That's fine. That's good. That's fine. I put the headphones in. When will they do stuff? I don't know. The mystery of downtown.
Yeah.
Condo living.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Condo apartment. I don't know what to call it. I call it condo. It sounds fancy. Whatever.
Is it yours? Do you own it? That's a personal question.
Oh my gosh. That's a great question. We are officially adults. We do. It's
nice.
a big step. I know. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like, it's also terrifying owning something, because now I clean. So my husband's very happy with that. It's like, I care. So I'm going to.
Filthy. Now,
before I'm
totally
like, I don't know.
clean.
I think that dust came with the place. We lived
Yeah.
there for 6 years. Yeah. No, it's part of it. It's character.
Yeah. Well,
Those bugs in the corner. They, you know what? They're happy. They've made friends. They're doing their own thing.
Yeah. Just any sort of thing. We had a bed bug scare at one point, and it's a true nightmare. Don't wish that on anybody. So if you have those bugs in your apartment, just call a pro. Just call a pro. I know that's not what this is about. I know that's not what this window chat is about, but
keep it random.
That's my piece of advice to aspiring comedians is don't mess around when it comes to bed bugs.
I think is a good life lesson.
Yeah.
With anything, right? You never know. Like I feel like there's so much that I never knew until you actually care about something, and then you want to learn everything about it. So we are like home renovation experts now. We're like, wait, this is how you do something? Oh my gosh, this is what we lived in before? Mm-hmm. What? So fascinating.
It's wild. You can learn so many things on YouTube, and you know.
Oh yes, exactly.
Things that I never would have realized, like between, I think my first place that I had the door frame, like the hinges just like fully came out of the wood frame. And so I was like, okay, how do I do, like, I am young and I've lived at home because I'm a privileged young adult, and I just like don't understand how to fix things. But like you can do a lot more than, you know, especially, I mean, we live in the golden age of information where you can find anything within like 30 seconds. So it's beautiful. But, you know, there are things, just don't mess around. Just get a pro.
Well, like, okay, I'm not a plumber. I'm not an electrician. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Everything else, let's see what happens.
Yeah, like if you have the time to learn properly, great, power to you, but that is not my journey.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's so many jobs for a reason, right? Like, I'm not going to be an expert in everything as much as I'd love to be, because I just think it's fascinating to learn about things, but it's, yeah, leave it to the pros.
Yeah, 100%. And like, I think that's, not that you're outsourcing parts of your entertainment self necessarily, but there are definitely times where I'm like, oh, I want to bring in this person because they're specifically good at this thing that I'm not, or, like, I'm not going to go up and do stand up, at least not right now. Like, I'm not.
I was going to ask you that.
I'm not that
Are you
guy.
Not a stand-up person? Okay.
I like to host. I like to do solo stuff, but I'm just not, I'm not necessarily interested in, like just going up into, like, it'd be I'd have to be like an alt sort of like solo sketch, weird stand-up kind of guy, like something more like along the lines of Bo Burnham, I think.
Oh, interesting. I mean, look, learning that you did musical theater, can you sing? Is this a skill set I didn't know you had?
So I don't actually do musical theater, but we have done a lot of musical
improv. Yeah,
yes,
so
yeah.
Yeah, I know. I call it musical theater improv. It's musical improv. My bad. But is it just you sing?
I'm not a pro by any means, but like I can carry a tune. Yeah, and I think like one of the things that we always talk about when we're teaching musical improv is just the audience will forgive so much because they're just glad to not have to go up and do that. They're glad they're not on stage. So like being committed and on time is like 90% of your problems are solved. Like you just gotta be there, be in the moment, and really commit to singing. And then like all the rhymes and stuff, you can teach that. It's a skill, it's a muscle that you can build. But yeah, I'd say those are the most like important things in it. And yeah, carrying a tune, fine, totally fine. Would I be asked to record a song? Absolutely not.
Well, if I was casting, I don't know. I have no idea what I would cast for. I just like I like to give myself behind the scenes jobs for like little projects and let's cast something.
Yeah.
And then I realized, oh my God, I hate the job of a casting director. It's exhausting. I don't want to do this.
I wanted to ask you if you were going to venture into casting because you've done so many Clubhouse.
Oh my God. It's so hard in the sense of, I think you need to know not only do you need to know so many actors because there's so many different projects and so many specificities in the characters that people are creating, but when I talk to other casting directors and I hear what production is demanding from them, and it's ridiculous. It's almost like we need to take a step back and realize that like this should be a collaborative process, not just a whole mess of let's throw everything on casting. Because I'm exhausted when I hear some stories of here's all the things that are expected from me and here's all my barriers and no one seems to care. And you go, well, yeah, first off, how is one person or even like some people have a team with casting. How are they supposed to accomplish everything that doesn't even make sense? So yeah. It's a lot. And I think the more you learn about any industry, the more you respect so many of the roles behind the scenes. And not that I didn't before, but you have so much more of an understanding of what this job entails. It's a lot. Ooh.
Yeah. I think that is a similar feeling to, a lot of people trying something like improv for the first time. It's because like they see it on stage and they're very excited. And then, doing anything gives you the appreciation for it. And I think specifically with improv too, you're like, oh, they're just making it up. Like, how hard could it be? And then you get up and you're like, oh, this hard. Like, oh, okay, cool.
You know what? It's hard too. I hate, like, for myself, because I always feel accountable when I'm just not on, right? And you're just having those. And I always feel bad when it's like, oh, I missed this opportunity to give this person this setup. And it's a really collaborative process when it comes to improv. And I when it works, when you have those moments when it's just magic, you go, there's nothing like it. It's beautiful. Oh, I love it.
I 100% agree. You're preaching to the choir.
Did you film? Do you have like footage of all your different improv experience? I I try and creepily stalk people before I chat with them. And you were very, look, I went on your IMDb page. I gave you a credit, my friend. But like,
Thank you.
I needed to find, I'm like, where is his footage? I couldn't find much and I was upset. So I'm bringing up a concern as a fellow actor. Where are you?
I do have an improv reel and like a demo reel. But yeah, it's not as much. Like, I wish I had some footage from BeerProv on the ship, but it was just very difficult because there's only 4 of us. We're all doing the show. But
it's hard.
Yeah, we do have some stuff. I've got some clips from when I was in the Second City House Ensemble and a couple other little shows. But yeah, it's just like, it's similar to the demo reel for, you know, acting stuff, like just constantly upgrading, taking snippets, putting them in. They're better. Yeah, that's it's out there. I'll make it more accessible.
Please do. This is just giving people feedback. Here's how you should, and it's just like, I want to know more about you, right? It
doesn't translate as well, though. It's one of those things that
you're right. I can see that. Yeah.
With live improv, it's, you know, I think you can appreciate it, but also it's like you could only ever, with the exception of like online streamed shows, see, you know, that energy when you are there, or, you know, like you hear people laughing, but it's that inside joke that you all get to be a part of, you know, having given the suggestion or seen something earlier in the show. Yeah, so I think it definitely translates better, but good improv should still be watchable, you know. Something has happened. This is still Haley. Haley is on multiple accounts now. I don't know.
Haley, like,
I don't know what's
this
happening.
is entertaining. That's fine. I've never actually seen someone have 2 accounts and comment on it. Haley, I'm loving this. Talking about the Starbucks commercial,
siblings?
A little callback.
What?
I know, I saw that. I chose to ignore it. That's fine. We aren't.
That's very
clearly
funny.
a regular viewer. That's what I was thinking.
No, we are not.
I love these because I never know who's going to watch it and who's going, like, what comments will be written. And I've learned, there was a phase when it was very interesting comments, and so that's why I have my little, hey, let's ignore some of the comments. Because I can't control people. Let's just I don't know who these people are. Okay. And it's weird.
It's one of my favorites. It's like such a double-edged sword because sometimes it's very disruptive, but it is always something. If like somebody, like if, for example, if somebody was yelling out in the middle of a show, like you have no choice but to kind of tackle that one head on, you know? You got to be like, there's people around you, dude. What are you doing?
I was watching, I went to see, so one of my last guests, she is creating like a stand-up comedy for yesterday was 3 women, and it was, I haven't seen stand-up in so long, and it was live, right? So things are happening, and the first stand-up comedian's going, she's just like calling people out, you know, someone's phone goes off, and she wasn't calling, I've never seen this.
Yeah.
She like just, okay, the phone went off, she's like, oh, like, let's have a conversation about your ringtone. Yeah, guys, do you remember, like, let's discuss, we used to hold our phones to our ear, let's discuss that, and completely brought it into her bit. And I was just like, bravo, because, you know, sometimes I got a little diva-ish. I'd be like, turn off your phone. I wouldn't say that, I would think it. So to see how people take that and just make it part of it, and then we're kind of all laughing about it, because we all hear the phone, right? Someone's like dropping loose change. We all hear that. Let's acknowledge it. And let's make a joke. It's a great opportunity.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, you know, that can translate to if something happens in the room, if you're auditioning or, you know, in a tape or whatever, like you can use that too and kind of be like, oh, okay, I'm going to choose to use this as opposed to just be like, oh, this take sucks.
I mean, it depends. I think the only time I wouldn't use it is when there's, you know, an ambulance and I go, maybe I'll edit out the sound, but... You know, if it's like a Hallmark and then there's the ambulance, I'm like, I don't think that's the tone. I don't think anyone dies.
Yeah.
Although that would be funny. I always want to make them, do you have this issue with self-tapes? Like, when something's not funny, do you just want to find the comedy and just do it?
Yes,
like,
particularly
you
with
know
things. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, just because they're, you know, I mean, some of them are genuinely funny, and
Yeah.
I think commercials have gotten a lot better, but you know, you get the dry ones from time to time that are like a fitness or like a, I don't know, like an insurance thing or real estate, and you kind of just got to be like, this is just a direct to camera, like I'm just pitching you on buying a house. Okay, like this is not meant to be funny at all. But yeah, it's tough at that point because I'm like, where are the jokes? Where are the jokes?
I will find you and I will make you laugh. Okay.
Come on.
Those are really hard. I mean, yeah, like, look, I guess we're supposed to be able to do all this stuff, but it's when I read something, actually, I get influenced very easily. So when I would get commercial auditions, I would read it and, oh, this sounds like a really good product. I'm going to buy it. You know, like it's a well-written commercial. I didn't know it could do all this stuff. Fascinating. You have another customer.
I think the only thing that I have noticed recently that I was like, oh, I have this, was Triscuits. And I was like, oh yeah, I'd be so hyped to do this commercial. I love Triscuits.
They're great.
That's
What if you get a flavor? I'm not a fan of the flavors. So what if I have to, you know, I would do a basic Triscuit. I would be like very specific with my request, but then they're, you know, promoting a new flavor. I go, I'm not vibing with this.
I like some of them, but yeah, I understand why people don't. Like some of them are quite salty.
Unnecessary. Triscuits, this is your feedback.
Triscuits, get it together.
Come on, man. Okay, watch my sodium intake.
Triscuits.
Just don't care. Ryan, so this is not half an hour. This is a long chat, and that's because I like talking to everyone. I am aware of the time. I just couldn't stop talking, and you're delightful.
Oh, you too.
Is there any final thoughts you'd like to share with the viewers, both current and future viewers?
Yeah, put me in all your commercials, and all your movies. No, just
yes,
if you want to come see, if you want to come see a show or take a class, you know, baddogtheater.com/education for shows, or sorry, for classes. We do drop-ins, all sorts of stuff from voiceover to on-camera comedy to improv. Come check it out. There's tons of good comedy in Toronto. Like, please go see a live show if you feel up to it. Like, there's truly some of the best comedy in North America right in this city. So please check it out.
Specifically, Ryan.
Specifically, me. No. I don't have like a monthly show or anything like that, but I don't know. Who knows?
No, but I mean, like, should they specifically take your class?
There's so many. I would vouch for any of the teachers that we have.
Oh my gosh, you are terrible at selling yourself, sir. Okay,
Ryan's take my class, but I think
okay.
I only said that because I think this upcoming term, I'm teaching only a youth class. So I
identify as a youth. Okay,
I mean,
so
have fun with the 7 to 9 year olds. It's gonna be a
oh
weird.
Oh my god,
one.
that is where I get canceled. 7 to 9 year olds canceled.
There
we go.
They'd be like, why is Robyn in this class?
Who is this woman? I didn't know you could fail improv. Okay, guys, she got held back a lot of levels. Oh, that's so fun. I really want to do that. I'm not going to, but I really want to. Oh, that's so fun. Okay. It's just such a fun, you know, when you learn like 7 to 9. Oh, the fun that will be generated in that class. Can I watch the final show? Can you please promote that well? Or if you're not going to promote it, can you tell me and I will promote it because I want to watch it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that our kids have a showcase for their classes right now, but certainly we'll be having another. I think our next class showcase is May 24th at 9:30. That's at Comedy Bar, and that'll be.
I liked how you moved the eyebrows to think.
I'm like trying to remember where it is, and I'm pretty sure May 24th, 9:30 at Comedy Bar, and there'll be like a bunch of our sort of more advanced classes will be performing there. And we're going to be doing a bucket show if anybody wants to come play. Believe that's May.
Remind me what a bucket show is. I feel like
if you want to play, you get to play. So you just toss your name in a bucket and get pulled up. Yeah.
I thought like, BYOB. Okay. No? Not bring your own bucket? Okay.
Not bring your own bucket. No. But like follow me here, follow Bad Dog. We'll be promoting it. It's just a place to get up and play. If you want to do that, it'll be at Sweet Action Theater, which is a space that runs a lot of like sweet clown workshops, idiot work, buffoon. It's fantastic.
It's called idiot work?
Yes. Yeah. So it's basically clowning without the nose.
Don't insult people, okay?
But the thing for them, it's a compliment to be an idiot. So
I love taking a positive spin. You're an idiot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they just want to do it's like very, very, it's so dumb. It's so stupid, but is it
physical comedy? What is this?
A lot of the time. Yeah. Very physical comedy. Yeah. It's just like basically clowning without the nose. And it's.
But how can you be on the nose? I heard it. Lame dad joke in all of us. Okay. Oh, that's a lot. It's a lot of exciting stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Follow Ryan, follow Bad Dog, and oh my gosh, Ryan, thank you so much for chatting with me. This is so fun.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a blast.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Thank you all for watching. My new thing is I get the guests to sign out. So if you have a cool sign off, feel free to use it. No pressure.
Sure. Yeah. This has been Window Chats with Robyn and Ryan. Until next time.
Bye.